Hi, welcome to the small shed. This Saturday we're doing a few more repairs. See you in a minute. Now I seem to have had a lot of silly little repair jobs over the last couple of weeks, so I thought I'd run through most of those and that'll give us a full video, I think. Pretty varied stuff from repairing computer leads to shoes. So let's have a look at the first one. Right, first job of the day is a little one. My wife's iPad connector has all started to fall apart. All of the rubber coating is coming apart and leaving all the centre braiding loose. Sooner or later that's going to fail, I think. We will get a new one on order, but in the meantime I'm just going to do what I've done with some of these things before and repair it. She said, can you put a bit of tape over it, but I don't like masking tape, or insulating tape. It tends to just go into a sticky mess and come undone. So I'm going to use hot glue. I've got the hot glue gun on and hot and going. And really I'm just going to put a blob over the whole area, and then, although it hurts a bit, you just squash it down with your fingers, although that doesn't look too bad on its own. Just smooth it down a bit. That should make it into a reasonably secure job for the next day or two. As that cools off, I'll just put another blob over the top of that, as again running it further either side. It's not the prettiest of jobs, but it makes it mechanically strong as well as repairing the brake, so it shouldn't pull out anymore. I don't quite know what's happened to it. It's an odd sort of bit of damage, really. It's almost as if the inner cable's shrunk and it's all bellowed out, but without seeing what it was like before, I don't know. So we'll just smooth it down. That's it. Let that cool down now, and that just goes into basically almost a solid blob, and that will save the problem from happening again. And so in the meantime we'll go and get a new one ordered. Right, back from another weekend with the grandchildren, and as usual there's a bit of repair work to be done here and there. This one is a really cheap nasty plastic toy that we bought. Oh, it's got a bit of metal on it. When we were in Mallorca with them a couple of years ago. I wouldn't normally bother because the front digger bit's missing anyway. Were it not for the fact that it was caused, the damage was caused by Mrs. Smallshed stamping on it accidentally, so serve them right for leaving these things lying around. But we've bent all the axles and broken one of the wheels, so it looked a very simple thing to sort. So I said I would take it away and repair it. And then the other thing we've got to do is to glue the stone back on Mrs. Smallshed's earring. That was something that came adrift. Both, as I say, very quick and cheerful things to do. So we'll just straighten out the axles. They're only the thickness of a pin, so they're not worth spending much time on. It's just been a mad, hectic couple of weeks. We've had a couple of weeks, I think, where I've probably only been in the shed, well, less than one day a week. So we've just been out and about. I think I'm back on the community bookcase that needed some more work doing on it, and I've done a little bit of work on Hetty's engine in the last week or two. I think my super glue is getting a bit poorly. Just stick that on in the right place. That's it. I'm just going to flood it with a bit more just to reinforce the joint. Right, simple as that. Only that I've now got to figure out how to put it all back together because it fell apart a bit while I was taking it apart. Right, so the tractor's back together. Now the stone, well I say stone, I think the glass. I'm not going to use the accelerator on this because I suspect it's not quite as strong. I don't know, I may be wrong when you've used accelerator, so I'm just going to use neat sign out and then put it on and leave it to set of its own volition. It seems to be a constant thing, either looking for or mending earrings. I've got another one there that was lost in the car, or we think it was lost in the car, but we can't find it anywhere. I found the loop off the back, but it looks like we've got a whole set of earrings for people with one ear. That's that one sorted as well. So that's got us back on the road with the repairs. Okay, new day, new problem. My wife's walking boots, they're starting to come apart. It's only the sole coming off, so it's not a big problem, other than that it's quite bad in places, and the more you provoke them, the more they come undone. So I'm going to just glue them together. I'm using a contact adhesive for that one, I think. I think that's what the cobblers tend to use. Couple of problems with it really. Firstly, being able to get in and get the glue in there and then keep it apart while it's drying, and I should be using my favourite coffee stirring sticks to keep things apart until I'm ready to let it go. And then the other problem will be clamping it tight while it dries out, and for that I'm thinking it needs something like a huge rubber band, and I've not got anything suitable to hand other than bungee cords, and I think if I wrap those round stretched, they might just pull it tight while it just goes off finally. I mean, it shouldn't need a lot of pressure once it's stuck. So we'll crack out the contact adhesive. A long while since I've used anything like that, and in the days I last used it, it was incredibly toxic and noxious that you could find yourself floating on air if you used it for long. In this instance, I suspect nowadays we don't get that sort of problem. So I'm just going to put a bit of this stuff in, and then I can spread it round on both faces and hope that we'll get somewhere. Just still as stringy as it ever was, but it's not quite as thick as it used to be. Probably going to have to do this bit at a time, I think. Trying to do the whole lot in one go is not really an option, I don't think. Right, we'll leave that for 5 minutes and come back to it when it's tacked off. That's about 5 minutes now for it to just go off. Got my shock cords. Let's see if that works at all. It's not the prettiest, but it's sort of doing the job. Move that along a bit, spread the load, and there's a bit at the front which won't do, but I can just wedge that, I think, with a bit of timber or something. I've got a bolt there, that'll do. Just something to put pressure on that front bit. Right, we'll leave that for a bit and see what happens when we take the straps off in a bit. And next day, 24 hours later, time to take the clamps off and bungee cords and see if we've achieved anything. Apart from crunching all the shoes up, but we can get that back, I'm sure. I want a brush, but yes, there's one little bit there that needs dealing with, but that's all sorted. Check the other one out. Yeah, those are fine. So there's one patch on that one just there, whereas there's the tiniest bit still of gaping edge. We'll just put a little spot more in there, but other than that, those are back and hopefully serviceable for a little bit more walking. Now the weather's getting nice. Okay, so there we are. Silly little jobs, but they just keep things ticking over. It's one of these things that you either throw the stuff away. Perfectly good pair of shoes there that are back in use. They hadn't had a great deal of outing time, so that will save buying a new one and hopefully save a little bit of landfill somewhere. Hope the video is of interest. Look forward to seeing you next week. We'll try and do something different. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye!